Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Anyway, thank you so much for your patience. And for those of you that watched those videos that I made earlier, thank you very much. For those who did not watch them, thank you very much. Anyway, I see that they didn't get that many views. But to be fair, there were like a bunch of videos coming out all at the same time. Alicia Kay, Pedal Facts and Two Cents, and the Duchess of Success, and a couple of other people. So it was just like, I was like, wow, everybody's posting at the same time. But it happens. Little bottleneck. So all is forgiven. Um, hmm, let me see. But I did do an experiment earlier. I actually recorded a video and then I posted it. It was about an hour long. So I may do that uh, in the near future as needed. I will post, you know how sometimes Petal posts a video and it is pre recorded and then she just jumps into the chat. I may do that. I even contributed $3 to Royal Sussex just to see what it felt like to, just kind of sit back and watch. But that was fun. So I may do that again one of these days. But it was an experiment because I may have to do that from time to time. So mission accomplished. Yeah, mission accomplished. So the Windsors versus the Wingers. Who are the Wingers? Well, I would say it's that couple on the right side. It's so ironic that they love to try to brand the Sussexes as the Wingers, but the truth is, ever since Endgame came out, they have done nothing but complain on the other side. Nothing but complaints, one after the other. If it's not their dog eating their homework, it's something else. So, but we'll get into it. Let me see who was here first. Lydia Washington was here first. Thank you so much. Vivian G is here. Mama Jane, and of course Connie Bowmer, and a host of friends and others. Okay, let's get on with it. I'm not expecting that many people at this hour, but we'll make it do what it do. Try not to stay on too long either. Polo is really picking up momentum. It is really picking up momentum. Some of the very obscure articles about the up and coming docuseries is pretty exciting. And of course, in case you didn't know, the producers, the executive producers, are none other than Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. They are the executive producers. And you know what? Already the tabloids are starting to say, well, what did they do? Exactly what did they do? What was their contribution? You can only play dumb for so long. They know exactly what it means to be an executive producer. Um, First of all, you share a vision with the rest of the production, whoever, um, the creative director is and everything. Second of all, you're financing it. You are finding financial support for it. You and other people are pooling your resources. And of course, if it's a success, then you reap the benefit. If it is not, then you go on and you try something else. We all know what producers do. Directors direct, producers produce. Sometimes there are director producers. Sometimes there are actor director producers. It depends on what the project is. So, this being a docu series, I don't suppose there's anyone play acting. The docuseries is based on Polo in South Florida. Everything that you needed to know about Polo, but was afraid to ask. So they're going to follow some players and their rituals and such, and we're all going to be the wiser for it. And the fact that every so often you see somebody strapping up a leather boot, or you see someone's ab muscles flexing as they pull their shirts over their head, that's fun too. There's going to be true grit, there's going to be athleticism, and there are going to be ab muscles. Okay? What else do you need? The thunderous roar of the horses running up and down the polo field, all of that stuff is going to be very, very sexy. So some people might even learn something. But even if they don't, there's plenty eye candy to go around. Can I get an amen? So that's all. There will be the rare cameo appearance of Harry and Meghan, but by and large, it is not about them. So they're going to try to, when I say they, the tabloids are going to try to set up this scenario where, everybody's disappointed they didn't see Harry and Meghan. Their goal was production. If anybody knows anything about entertainment, if you're trying to build generational wealth, you are better off behind the camera than in front of the camera. Yes, it is also very dramatic. It is very dramatic. We're going to see the real meaning of polo. And there are some people that are very eager to learn. They call it the sport of kings. Well, let's see what it's all about. Let's see what it's all about. So that's it. Be not discouraged by the haters that are going to try to get into your psyche and create all kind of negativity. Just reject it. Just reject it. The truth is, Harry and Meghan are winning. They are winning. If you are in a struggle against, let's say, some very hateful in-laws or whatever, you would much rather be in a position where someone is trying to follow your footsteps, right? You want someone following you. You want to be the one to set the pace for fashion and just about everything else. All of the moaning and stuff about, oh, Harry doesn't have any friends. Someone posted something and I wouldn't even dare share it, but it was this big thing about how much Harry has sacrificed. Nobody speaks to Harry's quality of life or happiness before he left that family. What they had planned for him, I wouldn't say that it was any way possibly worse than what they put his mother through, but what they had planned for him, it's pretty much the Princess Margaret treatment, where you end up a drunkard, a chain smoker. You run off to some little island somewhere so you can get away from it all. You become the cautionary tale for your sibling. And that's exactly what they did to Princess Margaret. Margaret was the cautionary tale. Margaret was the negative to Queen Elizabeth's positive. In order to build up this child princess, this young woman, to make her seem as though she was so much wiser than everyone around her, they had to use Margaret as the sacrificial lamb. They had to use her as the constant example of this is what happens if you're not born first. I mean, that's not how they said it, but that's what they meant. It is getting old. It has been old. It's so old. But it's a fact. It's a fact, you all. So it is very frustrating. I would love to see the Sussexes just soar and achieve and do amazing things without the burden of that institution nipping at their heels, plotting against them. But that's not the world that we live in. The world that we live in, you have your haters. But what's important is that as they succeed, they only get stronger, and they have gotten so much stronger. Yes, there's always going to be someone who do not like them, or they know that they did something. They don't know what it is, but for some reason people don't like them, so I don't like them either. But for the people who do like them and the people who do love them and people who support their mission, their goal, their universal service, it's a beautiful thing. So just block those people out of your mind. Um, there has been a relentless push in the past 24 hours, 48 hours of plotting and scheming and leaking and briefing, all of those things to try to knock them off track, which means, guess what? They suspect that Polo is going to be a huge success, not to mention, nobody knows when, but I'm assuming that at some point the ARO is going to launch. It would be really cool if it launches before Christmas, but if we don't hear anything by Black Friday, then I don't suppose there's a chance of it. It is getting very late into the year, so it may not be this year. It may not be until next year. But whenever it does happen, whenever the launch takes place, we will have credit card in hand, ready to spin, spin, spin. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you, my aunt who just passed away, she said, well, let me know when it comes out. She said, because whatever she's selling, I'm buying. So I don't care what it is. She said, whatever she's selling, I'm buying. So if that's how my aunt felt about it, and you all have people that feel the same way about it, it is going to be off to an incredibly promising start whenever American Riviera Orchard drops. We will be there for it. So don't be discouraged by what you're going to see in the next few days, because it is the keening season. It is the end of the year. And Charles, Godzilla, William, and Kitty, they're going to do as much as they can leading up to Christmas when they take that walk on Christmas morning. And then after that, they're going to disappear and we're not going to see them for a while. Somebody may have surgery again. Anything's liable to happen. So pay no attention to it. It's all a bunch of noise. It is designed to demoralize people that are very supportive of Harry and Meghan. That's all the point of it is to demoralize, to make you feel uncertain and insecure. Not going to work. Not going to work. Harry and Meghan have been trending like crazy the past couple days. And look at this. This is a news agency from Ecuador, of all places. Ecuador. See that? Netflix releases docuseries about Prince Harry. Find out all the details. Well, obviously they got that wrong. It's not about Prince Harry, but who cares? Netflix docuseries, blah 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 blah. Does not matter. Publicity is publicity. The point is, all the way down in Ecuador, there are people talking about Polo. So forget the noise. Forget the noise. People are always looking for something different on television, and this is definitely going to be different from the usual stuff. So, like I said, it's much to do about nothing. This is Harry Steele in Vancouver, I believe, Whistler in Vancouver. This guy right here, Reuben George, says spent. Let me see. Spent have okay. I have spent. I think that's what he means to say. Yeah, I've spent all day with a visit with Prince Harry. We talked about colonization First Nation people went through. Do you think that's why they're a little ticked off over in Narnia? Because Harry is having the conversations that they won't? Yeah, we talked about colonization First Nation people went through. We talked about our Coast Salish law, which is our culture and spiritual, and how we use this law to heal. I am impressed how he carries himself. I am impressed how he carries himself. See what I mean? You have to cut through all the noise to get to what people really think. Harry is doing the work that William should be doing. Harry is doing the work that Charles really should be doing. And of course, always at his side, his friend and protector, his security, forget the guy's name, but as you can see, they've been around each other that they even mimic one another's behavior. That's when you can tell you've been around someone for a long time. You start to mimic one another's behavior. Okay. I needed to grab some water. So, and take a look there. Harry observing, Harry giving a speech. These are just some photos, randoms, that we did not see until today. Um, well, we knew it was coming out December, right? I don't know that they're so surprised by it. Um, I think what it is with all the bad news that they've been suffering through, with all of the ill feelings and such, they are looking forward to their season, right? The Royal Variety Show, the Christmas Carol, all of these things. Not to mention, you got Camilla, who has had her bouts of illness, so she hasn't been available much. You have William, who intermittently decides to work some days. You have Kate, who seems to have put all of her energy into this Christmas Carol, which is astounding when you know that there is a whole production team that is really doing all the work. Could you imagine how much input Kate actually puts into this Christmas Carol? This is her only real achievement of the year. Achievement in name only. I mean, could you imagine if the production team turned to Kate Middleton and asked her, Mom, what do you suggest?
Well, obviously it'd be, I would love to have met her. And she's obviously, she's an inspirational woman to look up to. Obviously to this day and, going forward and things, it is, it's a wonderful family. The members who I've met have achieved a lot. and very inspirational. So yeah, I do.
Yeah, but what about the Christmas Carol? We would like to make sure that everything is up to your specifications.
Well, obviously it'd be. I would love to have met her, and she's obviously she's an inspirational woman to look up to. Obviously to this day, and going forward and things. It is. It's a wonderful family. The members who I've met have achieved a lot, and very inspirational. So yeah, I do.
Well, are the decorations up to your standards? Is this what you had in mind, Mom?
Well, obviously it'd be. I would love to have met her, and she's obviously she's an inspirational woman to look up to. Obviously to this day, and going forward and things. It is. It's a wonderful family. The members who I've met have achieved a lot, and very inspirational. So yeah, I do.
And that's about the extent of it. That is the extent of her input. A lot of word salad, a lot of gibberish, and then the production team, they do what they figure is best, right? Whereas we know the Sussexes do their homework. They have a vision. And much to Harry's credit, Harry is a very much on hands person. He learns by doing. And it's incredible how well placed he is for the life that he has right now. So I see nothing but success in their future. The Royals are triggered because they were counting on December, late November, early December. They were counting on this period to show people value for money. With all this talk of slumlord, Graham Smith has been going hot and heavy about the cost of the coronation. Harry and Meghan don't have to prove anything. It is the others that have a vested interest in demonstrating value for money. And that's just the truth. When you are self-funding your lifestyle, when you are able to fund your philanthropy, you're not taking money from, say, an ambulance service or an army regiment that is there to protect you in your name, and you're charging them money. You have the largest land holdings in all of Britain, and yet you're taking money from charities instead of giving them 100-year lease or something of that effect, giving them 50 years access to this land or that territory. They're not asking you to pay for anything. They just need to exist. But these charities have to raise that much more money to cover the cost of rent on this derelict land that would serve no purpose to anyone else. You're certainly not building affordable housing on it. That's why they're in a panic. That's why they're in a panic, because people are pointing out their deficits, their entitlement. That's why they're in a panic. And the old playbook says, take it out on Harry and Meghan. Take it out on Harry and Meghan. Try to dilute it with a little Harry and Meghan. Let's throw some attention over to Harry and Meghan. It's not working. It is not working. Grant, what's his name? Graham Smith. He doesn't mention Harry and Meghan. He just mentions what's wrong with the monarchy, what's wrong with that system. And he's not the only one. There are so many other people whose names escape me are asking questions. What do we need them for? Nobody's asking that about Harry and Meghan, but the tabloids, feeding that negativity to the derangers. Here you go. Exclusive. Markle hosts heartfelt holiday dinner for Afghan women starting new lives in America. So when this came out, when this came out, you know that they could not let this go unnoticed, right? Or should I say unanswered? They could not allow this to go unanswered. So later today, we find out that the Christmas Carol, the one thing that Kate is actually doing in her name for the calendar year of 2024, the one thing that you could actually see a physical existence. Anything else is just a bunch of, oh, Kate had a meeting. Did you know that? There's no pictures, there's no minutes, but she had a meeting. Did you know that? All right. The one thing that she's done, not her and Will going someplace together, but just Kate. It took her all of 2024 to reach the Christmas Carol, something that she has very little input, I could assure you. God forbid we should have to listen to her play those same three notes again. She's going to invite the survivors of the knife attack at whatever school. That is her one bedrock achievement for 2024. Given her inability to focus and maintain attention for any prolonged period, that will be her one achievement, is probably holding hands with these kids and parading them into Westminster Abbey, giving them a place along with the royal family, only for those kids to disappear into obscurity as soon as it's over with, and likely to be called upon whenever they need to do some virtue signaling from Kate or William. But I think that's going to be Kate's thing. Just like William. Do you guys remember when William, there's someone leaked photos of William out with the big book when he was out selling those magazines with the homeless guy wearing a watch that cost more than it took to raise me? Do you remember that? And I said at the time, I said, uh-oh, William's birthday's coming up. They need to do something to make it look like he's giving back. How often do you think those people hear from William in between parading them around in front of cameras and not? How often do you think they hear from him? What does he know about their lives? Will he take any single person and uplift and elevate them out of poverty? I doubt it. And if he does, trust me, there will be cameras all over the place to record it. We didn't even know that Meghan was going to the Hub Kitchen. That was something that seemed to escape everybody's notice when she first went over to the UK. And then all of a sudden, here comes the cookbook. And what do? They attack the women. They attack the women to try to disparage Meghan. Something that needed to be done. Somebody saw something that needed to be done. That someone was Meghan. And it happened to have been something that every member of the royal family has come through there to virtue signal, to show that they're concerned time and time again. One visit from Meghan, who assessed the situation and said, you know what? We got to keep this kitchen open more than just a couple days a week. So, of course, she needed to be punished for being thoughtful. But you know what? They are going to, the same people, those tabloids that are asking, what exactly do they do? What exactly are they doing? They are going to monetize the you know what out of these photos. People who merchandise in their magazines, all the fashion magazines, they're going to go on and on about Meghan's outfit. They're going to make some money. Everybody's making money. While simultaneously, you have the tabloids trying to destroy Meghan's character while they're making money. Very sinister, I think. But you know what? You have to try to be more like Meghan and just ignore the noise, because they've done it so much that people aren't really listening to it. If you look at the comments, you'll see how people say, oh, what is Harry and Meghan for responsible for today? What is this distraction about? Why is it always Harry and Meghan? What are you blaming them for now? It's old, but they're doing it for the royal family. The royal family are the ones that's pushing that with promises of access and all that kind of stuff. Like, listen, you know, my father's pretty old. If you want to be there to cover the funeral, you better not say anything nice about him. But you know what? Who cares? Who cares? Let them chew on it. What's that, legs? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That was a big announcement that they made today. And, you know, I don't mind it in that, I mean, I don't like it. But, you know, when they get desperate like that, that means that Harry and Meghan have built up so much momentum that they have to do something. They're the ones that are desperate. Harry and Meghan are not in a desperate situation. It's the rest of that family. I will just say that the Sussexes are in a position of strength. They are in a position of strength. They didn't even know that this was happening. Could you imagine if they could, they would have probably 2, 3, I don't know how many royal rodents. They would have them over here permanently stationed to follow Harry and Meghan around if they had any clue what their plans were. And yet, time and time again, they are able to come and go and carry out so many things, and there's not a whisper of it. Nobody is leaking. Nobody's leaking, because in Montecito, there are no leaks. Nobody's leaking. So I am reassured by that. You know, you got to celebrate the wins that you have. Don't worry about things that you can't control. And what a beautiful room. Oh my God. And those blue pots. I love those. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. I love this space. It is so calm. It's like the land and the sea. You got the warm tones along with the kind of ocean blue. What a beautiful space. And as you can see the sign in the back, Archewell Foundation. The dinner was hosted at Our Place. That's the name of it, Our Place. Pretty clever, right? Funded by Shidza Shahid, where the participants were gifted with new cookware. I want some of that. For the upcoming holiday season, the Duchess remains committed to uplifting women and fostering community. Our Place and Archewell Foundation. So this was sponsored by Our Place and Archewell Foundation, and of course you can see the names up there. What a beautiful space! So never mind all the noise. Just imagine you're coming here from Afghanistan. You have been through who knows what, and yet there is a place of peace and freedom where there's a helping hand on the other side of whatever you've been through. That's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. So, yeah, I prefer to replace that negativity with beauty. I love this. Our Place. And I love that cookware. Let's take a look at it again. Isn't that nice? It just makes you want to cook something, doesn't it? It just makes you want to cook something. Now, this is something else that escaped us. Oh, wait, what about the folding chairs? Oh, I didn't really notice those. Nice blonde wood. Oh, kind of high end. I like it. So this is Harry at the United Nations. I don't know how this escaped us, but let me find the videos. I love it because you get a chance to see Harry working the room as only Harry can, working the room. Do your thing, Harry. Do your thing. Hold on a second. Oh, yeah. Very big friend. Yeah, of course. Very big friend. Yeah, of course.
Fair, town and country people, all doing wonderful work. Vanity Fair, town and country people, all doing wonderful work. Vanity Fair. Oh, yeah. Very big friend. Yeah, of course. Oh, yeah. Very big friend. Yeah, of course. Fair, town and country people, all doing wonderful work. Vanity Fair, town and country people, all doing wonderful work.
All right. So that happened. And as I said, when you see stuff like this, then you realize all of that stuff that they're trying to do, it does not matter. Harry went to the United Nations and was an absolute superstar. And did you notice the way people were trying to be very discreet and record him without looking too, obvious, which is why it looks like this. That's why it looks like that, because they're trying to hold their phone down, trying not to be too obvious. And I remember reading how the people were getting so excited when Harry came around, and they would try to hold their phones in a very discreet way, not to, because you're at the United Nations, you don't want to be too obvious, but they couldn't help themselves. They were starstruck. They were absolutely starstruck. So instead of holding the phone up, all up in his face and everything, they're just like trying to, hold it in their hand, like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. So, It's things like this that really reassure me. It lets me know that they are on the right track. I'm gonna make a video out of this one. I may do it tonight. The conversation, what's fueling the media? I'm sorry, the media's enduring hate campaign against Meghan Markle. See there, it just came out. So look for that one tomorrow, possibly. I will work on it tonight. What is fueling it? You know what's fueling it? Some very lackluster, boring people who do not have any presence of their own. And the only thing that ever makes them look capable is having an army of reporters try their best to tear down two of the most famous people in the world, the most influential couple in the world. That's the only thing that they have, is going after them because of the attention that Harry and Meghan are able to garner. It it actually makes their work easy. It makes their work easy because all you have to do is mention their names, and someone's going to uh, take a second look at an article that is probably very poorly written and has absolutely no merit whatsoever. But these are the things that one must endure. Yesterday, I mentioned Nails Abbey, and of course, they were trying to set up a interview on GB News, and he was not having it. He was just like, nope, no, thank you. Hi, Nails. I hope you're well. Would it be possible to set up an interview with you on GB News this evening about Band Aid? Hi, Sophie. Thanks for reaching out to me. Believe me, I know how hard it is to land roles in media, and I don't begrudge you earning a living. But GB News is a deeply racist platform, explicitly so. It goes without saying that I would never consider appearing. Disgusted to be asked. Nothing against you personally. So, by all means, feel free to contact me when you land employment at an actual news outfit. All the best, Nails. Which I love that name because he did nail it. He has certainly nailed it. You guys, I don't know how long this derangement, this right wing, um, white supremacist, racist um, media campaign is going to last. And of course, it's not just Harry and Meghan. It's anyone who is considered woke. Um, Whatever the technology, they seem to quickly run in there and assert themselves and try to control the message. That is something that's out of our control. The only thing that we can control is what we think and feel and believe. And when we find like minded people to share a sense of community, that is very sacred. And you have to do your best to hang on to that because otherwise, there's always like the mass media who's supposed to be so liberal, but they're the worst. They are the worst. I don't know what's going to come of it, but I can only control what I can control. You can only control what you can control, and that is control what type of information you take in, how you draw your opinions and conclusions. Just be very careful. If you see something pop up on your social media, like one of my friends get very ticked off with me because they think I don't believe what they're saying. But when I hear some sensational story, I say, the first thing I say is, where did you see that? Where did you see that? And it's scary how often there's so many people will tell you all this dreadful, horrible stuff, and they don't seem to do the first thing that needs to be done, and that is consider the source. And not all good sources are good for everything, but they are good for some things. It's just like I used to love to go to the thrift store. Well, one thrift store was good for clothes, another thrift store was good for electronics, another thrift store was good for flatware and plates and such, but none of them were good for everything. And that's how you have to approach mainstream media, right? Okay, so this one is good for, let's say, historical things or something. But when it comes to politics, they're very right wing, so I cannot trust what they say. But they are a mainstream news source. So at the very least, you know that certain things are likely to have happened and other things they're going to push their agenda. So you have to be able to decipher those things. And it's unfortunate it's not like the old days where you could relax more and trust certain newspapers and such. But that's why the right wing takes over something like a Newsweek, take a perfectly good American magazine and turn it into a tabloid because they know that you're more likely to believe the negativity if it's coming from a name like Newsweek. That's the whole point of it. So before you get angry and fly off the handle or whatever, consider the source, especially if it's coming up on your Google. You know, Google now, every time you open up your Google, there's some story about Harry and Meghan because your viewing and reading habits have fed the algorithm. So the bad thing about that is it makes you think that a situation is so much more worse than what it actually is. In all likelihood, it is not. But they're only showing you what they feel is inside of you. If this is the kind of stuff that you want to read about, we'll make sure you get it. Now, whether or not it's accurate, they don't care about that because they're making money by passing on the news, good or bad. So, just something to think about. It's so important that we navigate our way through what the media landscape, as they say, we have to navigate our way through that, but always consider the source. And for God's sakes, don't start repeating stuff if you don't know it for sure. Go and verify it. Try to find out who else is saying the same thing. Don't just accept that one article from that one obscure news agency that you've never heard of before. Not worth it. One of the things that they love to report is so and so has suffered a terrible loss. And you look at that and you think, you know, oh, this person has died or that person has died. And it turns out they just want you to click that thing open. And they might even tell you, yeah, this person is dead. But if you don't see it trending with the mainstream media, why are you accepting that one story? The first thing you need to do is go and verify it by checking some other trusted news brands. I'm just so shocked at how many people will see it and then pass it along without even verifying it or without even reading it, which I have been guilty of that myself. Sometimes I share information with people. I'm thinking, oh, they'll be interested in this. And then when they start talking about the article, I'll be like, oh, I haven't read it. So I do it too. So we all have to be careful. We all must have to take responsibility. Okay. So the monarchy is a dangerous British fairy tale. So I love this guy because it was December 3rd after Endgame when he anyway, I don't think he's a monarchist. I don't think that he's into colonization and such. So I think he has some major street cred. He seems to have been socketed to that family for quite some time. So anyway, his name is Nels Abbey, and I believe he writes only for the mostly for the Guardian, and I think he has some pretty interesting articles. So give you something to check out. Oh, thank you, Connie Balmer. Yeah, I want to be as informative and as helpful to you all as possible, and I just don't want to see anybody get misled or confused about something that is certainly not true. Certainly not true. We cannot just trust everything that comes across our electronic devices. We have surpassed that possibility a long time ago. And I'll tell you something else. You notice that they're not complaining about TikTok anymore. Have you guys noticed that? Nobody's complaining about TikTok. And when I say nobody, I mean the United States Congress, the president elect. None of them are complaining about TikTok. And if you want to know why, that's easy to figure out because they have managed to put enough of their people, their you know, those that are paid to sow seeds of doubt and confusion, they have managed to put enough of them on TikTok so that they can change the narrative, change the conversation. Now, don't get me wrong, there are still plenty of people on TikTok that are countering that narrative. But I think, in particular, for the election, they were paying a lot of people to say a lot of negative things about Vice President Harris and just about any other Democrat candidate. And I know for certain that a certain genocidal country was one of the people, one of the patrons that was paying a lot of people. So that's why I say you have to be very discerning about where you're getting your information from. And even more so, are you going to repeat it to someone? Be very careful. The other thing that you have to be very careful about is choosing a proper wig. If you're on television, you don't want to show the cap. You don't want people to see the cap. You got to either blend it or get a lace front. I mean, you're on TV, and there's got to be at least 10 or 12 people watching you every night. The very least you could do is get yourself a good lace front. Now, there is some good news. The good news is I don't see that horrible gold eyeshadow. Remember that gold eyeshadow that she was wearing? Oh, thank you, Jesus. She stopped wearing that stuff. Because I'm telling you, every time I saw that gold eyeshadow, all I could think of is she looked like she worked in one of them houses. You ain't supposed to be on TV looking like you work in one of them houses. So at least she toned that down. Now I'm going to say this is a good look for her, but she really needs to invest in a good lace front. Even if she only uses it for the television, a good lace front goes a long way. But this right here, this is an abomination. You could even see where she's mixed the makeup into the cap. You see that? See how she's got the makeup where she like blotted it into the cap? Pretty bad, pretty bad. But I tell you what, I feel like I need to send her a Target gift card for toning down the eye makeup. I approve of that one. Because that, oh my God, I could not tell you. Sometimes I would be up at night tossing and turning, thinking about that gold eyeshadow, that damn gold eyeshadow. It was just so tacky. Yeah, it was so tacky. I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. It really upset my sensibilities.
Reign that King Charles may never be. Prince Harry, is he being selfish? I ask this as fierce agreeing that King Charles may never be. Prince Harry. I ask this as fierce agreeing that King Charles may never be. Prince Harry. Never be. Prince Harry. Prince Harry. Prince Harry, is he being selfish?
Did you hear the way her teeth were clicking together? Did you hear her teeth clicking?
Prince Harry.
Are those dentures?
Never be. Prince Harry.
Uh-oh, somebody's gone to Turkey. Somebody has gone and found a dentist in Turkey. Ladies and gentlemen, the Turkish dentist.
Be. Prince Harry. Prince Harry. Prince Harry, is he being selfish?
What is that clicking sound? What the hell is that clicking sound?
Prince Harry, is it?
I wonder what that is. Is that like, maybe it was something, maybe whatever is holding her hair in place, maybe something popped up there. You know what I mean? Maybe that little built-in comb or something popped. Maybe that's what it was. Let's try that one more time. This is like the Zapruder film, isn't it? I feel like I'm watching the Abraham Zapruder film.
Prince Harry. Is it?
What has just happened?
Never be. Prince Harry. Is he being selfish?
Yeah, I don't know. This is like the Zapruder film. And then I'm going to tell you, she's gotten more out of Wet n Wild makeup than anybody I've ever known. But again, thank you, Nana, for getting rid of that gold eyeshadow. You have done a service to humanity by getting rid of that stuff. I hope she's tossed it out. I hope she tossed it out. It was very Studio 54, right? But Studio 54 was only open for about 3 years and it closed down, and that was the end of an era. So as much as we would love to do it, we cannot go back to Studio 54.
Be. Prince Harry.
Okay. What do we have next here? So, I wonder if that clicking sound was a loose screw. You know what I'm saying? Because she does have a loose screw or two. How Prince William could follow in Harry's footsteps with his plan for the royal family. Oh, what's that? Lex says, cause it's got a message. Mumbles, please interpret. Thank you very much for that, Legs. When it comes to following in Harry's footsteps, you don't even have to ask how. The question is, how do you make him stop? He's already been dressing like Harry. He's grown a beard like Harry. He has a camera crew that follow him around. I thought Meghan and Harry were the Hollywood producers. So William has decided to do some producing of his own. Now remember, William wants to shrink down the monarchy even further. He wants to rely upon video footage of a handful of occasions that is supposed to suffice for everything that Queen Elizabeth II, Prince Philip, King Charles III, or the Prince of Wales, Charles, the Prince of Wales, that is supposed to cover for all of those official royal duties. Don't go here, don't go there unless you take a camera. And then if you do go, put it on social media and then think of something else you could do in front of the cameras. Now, of course, the royals, some royals have cameras follow them all the time anyway. But for William, he wants everything to be a documentary form of coverage of everything that he does. He wants it to be more like a documentary. And I can't help but notice that that is probably about the bulk of Harry and Meghan's work thus far has been documentaries. So again, I say it's not a matter of could he follow Harry's footsteps. The question is, when will he stop? He won't stop. All he thinks about is
Prince Harry.
That's all he thinks about is Prince Harry. What is Prince Harry doing? Where's Prince Harry going? What can I do to be more like Prince Harry? And some of the royal rodents have called him out on it. They have said that he is obsessed with Harry, in so many words. They have mentioned that he needs to focus more on his work as the prince of the realm instead of trying to be this global influencer. But he won't stop. He has plenty of money, right? He has plenty of money, so there's no stopping him. And so this is what they do when they're not in front of the camera. This is what they're doing. They're looking to the Sussexes for inspiration. That's why I said Harry and Meghan are in a position of power. And don't you forget that. They are the ones in a position of power because they dictate the movements of the rest of them. Yeah, authenticity is not equal to imitation and cosplaying. Here, here, legs. Here, here. And the thing is, William's not going to do less of it. He's going to do more of it. And that is why Tina Brown was saying that that he's surrounded by a bunch of sycophants. They know that there's a problem, but they cannot stop him. William has surrounded himself with a bunch of yes men. And by the way, the reason why Kate wasn't invited to go to that dinner is because William has more than enough beards around him. He doesn't need another. I said what I said. Now, Queen Camilla pulls out a royal variety performance just hours before citing an ongoing chest infection. The Queen is due to attend the performance. I'm sorry, the Queen was due to attend the performance with her husband, King Charles, on November 22nd. Well, and by the way, don't be distracted. I just picked a random background Yes, it looks like the pits of hell, but it's just a random background that I thought would complement the colors in the photo. So don't be distracted by the raging inferno behind them. That is just a random photo. It has nothing to do with Camilla or her character, that she seems to be surrounded by the flames of hell. That was purely coincidental. Okay? You believe me, don't you? And if you watched the video that I made earlier, you may have seen this. I put a collage together of Camilla as we know her, not as the rest of the world see her, but Camilla, who every so often will raise her head above the parapet and demonstrate who she really is. Right? Right. And this is one of those thumbnails that I am so proud of. I thought this one is pretty cool. I thought this was pretty cool. I think for the same reason that Kate was not at the white tie dinner is the same reason that Kate could not wear a tiara to the coronation. I don't know if you guys know this, but all of the royal women should have been wearing tiaras at that coronation. All of them. At least those who are married. I believe the rule is you have to be married to wear the tiara. But they all should have worn their tiaras, but they did not because Camilla would not hear of it. And to show you how shady Kate is, Kate actually wore Princess Diana's earrings to the coronation, right? That's being shady. Not to be outdone by Camilla, who wore a gown designed by Bruce Oldfield, whose claim to fame was designing God knows how many dresses for Princess Diana. So they're two of a kind. Trust me when I say this, they are two of a kind. They're both mean girls. I don't know how the public missed this because people see what they want to see. But these are two of the most wicked individuals. They certainly don't trust each other, and neither one of them should be trusted. The reason why Kate did not accompany Prince William to Tiara event at the palace, they want you to believe that she didn't go because she's so busy with the Christmas Carol. It's never stopped her in prior years. And please don't tell me, oh, she's recovering from whatever. That's no excuse. Absolutely no excuse. And as you can see there on the left side, the only thing that's better than having Kate there is showing what Kate may have worn if she had actually gone. So instead, which is pretty pathetic. It is. It's so desperate. And you know they're only doing this because Meghan has been trending because of her holiday dinner thing that she was seen doing today. But dazzling, Kate, dazzling royal variety fashion moments show why she will be missed at this year's event. Was she missed? Who missed her? Who missed her and for what? What did they miss? Her wearing another one of those plain, boring gowns like she's worn year after year after year. I doubt if anybody missed it. Nice try though, but I really do doubt it. They could either be there or not be there, but these things are going to go on without them. And over here on the right, much to my dismay, look at who Charles is talking to. Charles solo night at Royal Variety Performance. No Kate, no William, no Godzilla. Beaming King laughs with Elton John and chats with Amanda Holden, Alan Carr, Penny Lancaster at the Royal Albert Hall after unwell Queen Camilla pulled out. You know, back in, I think it was 2011 when this happened. Maybe this is why Camilla didn't go. Maybe Camilla realized that given the atmosphere going on, maybe it's not as safe as it used to be to prowl the streets at night. Because that one year when they were going to the variety show, they happened to drive through a crowd of very angry protesters. I forget what they were protesting, but this was almost like the Archduke Ferdinand, don't you think? This has all of the makings of the Archduke Ferdinand, where he and his wife were taken out by an anarchist. Interesting. The parallels, interesting. And the other thing that makes it so interesting is that from the reports I heard at the time, the driver wanted to go a different direction, but Charles insists they go this direction, which took them right into a pack of angry people. And there's Camilla in the back seat looking like she about to lay an egg. Don't she? She looked like she's about to lay an egg. Buck, 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 Charles, Charles, get me out of here. Buck, 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 Charles, buck, buck, Charles, get me out of here. Buck, 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 buck. Yep, she looks like she's about to lay a royal egg. Scary. And you know, look there, they broke one of the windows. They were trying to get to her so bad they smashed the window. Could you imagine if they had dragged them out of that car? I'm telling you, it would have been the Archduke Ferdinand all over again. So I think that's why she didn't go. What does this say? I still cannot believe Kate chose not to use her immense platform to educate and advise others about her symptoms and the type of cancer. It's appalling and a missed opportunity to raise awareness that could have saved lives. Well, I think by now we know why Kate hasn't said more, right? I think we're all clear on that. There is a really good explanation why Kate hasn't been more visible, especially for cancer. I still cannot believe. Oh wait, is that the same thing? Oh no. She can't advise on what she knows nothing about. Probably about pancreatic. What is that? Precancer cells. Yes, she can talk about Pap smear. She can talk about Pap smears. The royal family disappeared. Kitty again. Well, that's what they're saying is that she has been disappeared again. And of course, how can you advise people who are really suffering and dying from cancer? That's PR, fake photos, and fake double farm appearances, then rolling in a field commercial is the way to best to beat precancer. Wow. And followed by how can you give advice on an affliction she never had? Speaking to anybody with cancer in detail would immediately expose her as a liar. She needs to keep mum until she is exposed by a source from KP or Buckingham Palace. Well, that person is very specific. But the other thing is, I'm still kind of confused about this thing about them being so preoccupied with them leaking information about her. I don't think there's anything to leak. Really. What are they going to leak? She doesn't work. And even if it were true that someone was trying to target her information, I think they're more afraid that people would find the truth. At this point, aren't you considering that there's no there, and that if it is possible to leak her medical records, which makes me think someone must have actually have gotten a hold of it, but leaking her medical records would serve to tell the truth about her surgery and lack of cancer. I think that they started telling us something and it just snowballed and they could not back out of it. That's what I believe. There's Queen Elizabeth working up into the day she died. Where's Kate Middleton? Rarely seen in public. I just find it hard to believe that she's so ill that she's unable to participate and execute her royal duties. It's a hell of a different, very different, a difference in generations, logic, very different. They really should be embarrassed. They should really be embarrassed for the kind of stuff that she's gotten away with. The queen in her 90s, unable to. The photo on the right side, I remember when the person came in to visit her and they said, "Your Majesty, how are you?" She said, "Well, I can't move, but out of a sense of duty for the continuity of the country, she stood up to greet whoever it was that walked in to meet her. And she felt it was her solemn duty to accept Liz Truss, which is where the photo on the left side comes from. Still smiling. Even at that point, you could only imagine what was going on inside. But they have given Kate a free pass. A free pass. Well, it's not all bad news, though, because, you know, in her spare time, the queen had that souped up Cadillac Eldorado that she used to ride around in. There were people who saw her in the hood all the time, living large and taking charge. That's our Lizzie, living large and taking charge. She got her Louis Vuitton paint job, houndstooth, all of that. So, you know, she's a baller. She's a baller. And anybody who knew her knew that she was, you know, she was down with it. So don't hate. Don't hate. Don't hate the player, hate the game. And also, in spite of her advanced illness, she still managed to have these jam sessions with her band. There she is right there on the bass. She did not miss an opportunity to beat, not to just survive, but to beat cancer whenever possible. And that's the attitude you want to have. You want to go to the hood and hang out with your posse, and you want to make it to band practice. This is how we win. This is how we win. And I agree with A.N. Wilson. They're in deep trouble. They're in deep trouble. And that's why all of this negativity is coming out recently in the past couple of days, because they are the ones in trouble. Um, Black Girl Magic, 92% of African American women voted for the Vice President Harris. And so, unfortunately, that 92% are going to have to sit back and drink their latte and watch the country burn. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, of course, but if it does, do know that they did the best they could. They did the best they could. They were trying to vote the conscience of a nation that doesn't seem to have much of a conscience. And by the way, the background of this photo, if it looks familiar to anybody, one of the squatties that sent me a birthday card, I love like the little liner inside of the card. Isn't that beautiful? It was like a separate sheet that had that very cool retro design. It reminds me of the mid-century look. Very cool. So I actually scanned it so that I could use it as one of my backgrounds. Anyway, you know who you are. That is very beautiful. It did not escape my notice. See, that's how it is when people get you. They know what you like. Does it? Does it look familiar? It should. Thank you for that. And we're going to end with the Kennedys. We're going to end with the Kennedys. Every year this time, we start thinking about the loss of John F. Kennedy and what hopes people had for the future. But instead of like those pictures from Dallas and all of that, that very handsome, energetic man that Jackie fell in love with, I figured that's the way he should be remembered in the prime of his life. I'm telling you guys, those Kennedys have the most amazing hair. They have the most amazing hair. And then, of course, the Jacqueline Bouvier, when she married into the family, she brought those great genetics with her. But what a beautiful couple, right? What a beautiful couple. So much hope and so much promise. I think when that photo was taken, they had to be in their 20s. Very sweet. I like their energy. And check it out. Do you all recognize that young lady over there on the left side? That is none other than Nancy Pelosi. She meeting John F. Kennedy. And on the right side, that is a future president shaking hands with John F. Kennedy, William Jefferson Clinton, also known as Bill Clinton. Isn't that something? The torch is being passed from one generation to the next. Who knew that Nancy Pelosi, whose father was into politics, who knew that she would become a Speaker of the House and have some of the best insider trading information that money could buy, giving her access to a private plane and multiple properties? Who knew that was her future? But somebody had to do something with that information, right? Right. Yeah, it doesn't look like her, does it? Doesn't look like her. But that is a teenage Nancy Pelosi. Look at how tall John F. Kennedy is. I think he was about 6'3". Most of the presidents have been tall. Most of the more memorable presidents, most of them have been over 6 feet tall. So anyway, that is that for today. Thank you all very much. Thank you, moderators, for keeping this a safe space. Also, please do make sure you go and check out the video that I made about Kate and Godzilla, and the reason why Kate was not available for the dinner. We take a look back at their relationship. Yeah, so it's you can find it on the community tab. There's a post there for it. Okay. All right. Love you guys. I will see you all tomorrow or later today. Happy Saturday.